Welcome to Croft Castle and almost 1,000 years of history. The Domesday book of 1086 tells us that at that time a Norman knight by the name of Bernard de Croft was here, and he established a castle to defend the English border. Not the castle we see here today. This is in fact the third castle that stood in or around this area. We're now at the back of the castle. Bernard's original wooden castle would have stood in the field behind me. But during Tudor times, a stone structure was added. By the end of the English Civil War, the castle had fallen into ruin, and when Charles II came to power, Dr. Herbert Croft built the castle we see today. Next to the castle is the church of St. Michael and All Angels. This is the tomb of Sir Richard Croft. During the War of the Roses, he fought alongside Edward, Earl of March at the Battle of Mortimer's Cross. This eventually led to Edward being proclaimed the first Yorkist King of England. Throughout all major points of our nation's great history, the Crofts have made their mark, true royalists and supporters of the crown. As you enter the castle, you're greeted by the portrait of Elizabeth I. Sir James Croft held a high position in Elizabeth's court, being the controller, the equivalent of today's Chancellor of the Exchequer. Another significant Croft is the chap who built the castle we see today, Dr. Herbert Croft. In 1746, the Crofts moved away, and they wouldn't return for another 170 years. In the meantime, the new owners employed a local architect by the name of Thomas Furnell's Pritchard. He was the equivalent of the Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen of his day, and he designed and installed many of the interiors we see now. Characteristic features of Pritchard's design include the Rococo style ceiling and magnificent oak panelling.
Amongst Pritchard's work here is this wonderful trompe-l'oeil panelling, and as a volunteer I'm frequently asked about it to explain why this wonderful room is here and how it was constructed. The blue undercoat is done by stencil, but each panel is hand gilded so that everyone is different. And what's interesting is that this is an early form of recycling because it was brought by Pritchard from another house, Stanage Park in Redneshire, when he started work in 1746.
This is a saloon, and we've set this up to be like 1923, which is when the Croft family came back to Croft Castle. It just went on the market and they were able to buy it back for themselves. And it was just the grand total of £30,000 for the beautiful castle and the surrounding land. Now, even if you compute that up to today's values, that's only 4 million. But for such a lovely castle and for all the land, that's quite a bargain.
Gosh, that is a bargain.
We've given you a flavour about what's so special about Croft, and you can find out a lot more when you visit. Perhaps you may even consider becoming a volunteer. We'd love to hear from you. Please get in touch.